Hey, it's me, Joey B, doing my top 10 Marvel Legends of 2023. Now, the other day, I did a tier ranking video where I ranked every legend I got in 2023, and you would notice I had 11 figures in my possible top 10, so I had a few days to think about it. And let me tell you, it's been a really hard decision. 2023 was kind of a weird year for Marvel Legends. Overall, I feel fairly disappointed with the year, but there were still a lot of figures that I got that I did like and I'm happy with. And all the figures on the list are making it to my shelf in one way, shape, or form. Before we get started with this top 10, I want to give a little shout out to these figures here for being good figures, but not the best of the best. I thought these were all good figures. I like adding them all to my collection. They all had something in some way, shape, or form that was holding them back from even making to the honorable mentions. But I do really like these. Getting some honorable mentions here. First off, we have Vision from the Void Wave. Honestly, honestly, this figure is super close to being in the top 10. But what only holds it back is that it's just a Vulcan repaint. But this is the happiest I've ever been with a Vision figure. It's just not unique enough to be in my top 10. I really am happy with this Vision, though. He's even better with a fabric cape. Next runner-up is a character I mentioned in the video, so how he easily should have been a top 10 figure, but the articulation held him back. It was the Extremis Iron Man. One of my favorite versions of Iron Man, arguably my favorite version. I'm always torn between Extremis and the classic 70s Iron Man. It's just the articulation holds right back, and his arm's a little short, that too. But he really should have had a joint right here because the design is perfect for that type of articulation. They don't have it. It's really disappointing. So, Extremis Iron Man, not making my top 10. Did you guys say Extremis or Extremis? It's probably Extremis, right? Whatever. Either way, just that holds him back from being my top 10. I would love to have this figure on there, but you know, I can't wait to get him repainted as an Iron Patriot in the future. I hope that happens, and then maybe a different color version of Extremis as well. The final honorable mention, another Iron Man, and it's another Iron Man. It's one I've seen on lots of top 10 lists. So it's kind of crazy putting him on honorable mentions. Again, if it's a different day, he might be in the top 10. It might be swapped around. Like if I was to close my eyes and swap things around, I mean, this list could be totally different. I think really only number 1, 2, only maybe the first 4 are set in stone, and even they can switch around. Anyways, the number 11, the final honorable mention, is Model 1 Iron Man. I like this figure a lot. What just holds it back is that it's the design. He has nice, way more articulation than you'd expect for this design, but still limited because of this design. It's not the figure's fault. It's just that's just how it goes. Also, this armor was very short-lived in the comics. It's really iconic. It's his first appearance. But otherwise, it's just, I think it was around for 10 issues, if even that. I know it switched to the solid gold armor stood after that, which I know we're gonna get soon. Hope they do it right. Number 10, we have Pretty Boy from the X-Men Villains 5-pack. This is a really nice figure. I like the new body mold for him. The metallic doesn't look bad on him. His head sculpt's really nice. He's only number 10 for me though, just because I'm not the biggest fan of the Reavers. I wanted them for my shelf. There's not an essential for me, but of the few Reavers that we have, Pretty Boy is definitely the best one. I think this is the body mold they should have used for Silvermane from that Spider-Man villain set from a couple years ago. But yeah, I mean, really, there's not anything bad to say about this guy. He's only ranking lower because I like the other characters more. Figure-wise, he's probably actually better than the majority of them. But character-wise, they're all more important characters to me. And again, if I was to redo this list, maybe he'd be higher. But I'm really happy with this figure. Number 9, might be a surprise to a lot of people. It's a figure that I have not seen on anybody else's top 10 list. And it's the third time this character's been featured in this video. It is Heroes Return Iron Man. I think this is a really underrated figure. It looks just like the comic artwork by George Perez. I believe it was George Perez. I'm like 95% sure it was George Perez. And it's one of my favorite Iron Man armors. I mean, even though for me, he's just standing in my armor on the shelf because I don't have a specific display for this era of Avengers. It's still one of my favorite armors in that armory for sure. Yes, it has pins. It's on a reused body with new parts on it that just make it stand out to me. Every time I look at this figure, I just can't stop looking. I think he looks fantastic. I like the way they've done shoulder pads lately in Legends. This guy's another good example of that. I really enjoy this figure. I mean, really on him for reuse, it's only really his arms and his legs up until his boots. Because his boots are new, his lower arms are new, his torso is new, his crotch piece is new, his head's new. He's basically a brand new figure. So I don't know why more people aren't talking about this figure. Maybe it's just not as iconic of an armor for Iron Man as Extremis or as the Model 1 is. But I think this is the best of the three of the year. It almost makes me want to go build a late 90s Avengers team. But yeah, anyway, Heroes Return Iron Man. Number 8's a figure I've seen on a lot of top 10 lists. It's one I'm really, really happy with, but it has one flaw that I don't like that brings it down to 8. It should be much higher. It is Hawkeye. He came with the Sky Cycle, which I'm super happy to have the Sky Cycle. That's really awesome. But my one problem with Hawkeye that I don't like is this skirt. Like, I get they did it for the Sky Cycle. That's cool, whatever, I get it. But it doesn't match. Hasbro is not good at soft goods. I like soft good capes and stuff. I like that a lot. But on Hawkeye, it just doesn't look good. I mean, just look at the way it stands out. It bothers me a lot. And really, they didn't even need to make it soft goods, because on the Sky Cycle, I have the All-Father Wave Hawkeye, and he's sitting on there no problem with his plastic skirt. Because that's more how he looks in the West Coast. It's closer to how he looked for most of the West Coast Avengers run anyways. But this is the perfect classic Hawkeye, except for this fabric skirt here. Yeah, he definitely replaced the retro one on my shelf. That's another reason why he's a little lower. So he's just replacing another older figure rather than taking a new spot in the collection like Pretty Boy did. But still, you can never go wrong with classic Hawkeye. In fact, I actually kind of want a second one to go put with the Defenders. That'd be really cool. But yeah, this Hawkeye, and they finally got his head sculpt right. So super cool about that. Oh, I also don't like his bow and arrow situation. We need a new bow and arrow. But anyway, this Hawkeye, really cool. Number 7. This is the second figure from the X-Men Villain 5-pack. These are the only 2 good figures in that set. Most of that set was either disappointing or trash. Just disappointing, meh, or trash. I think it might have all just been meh and trash. But these guys are really good. You have Strife. Now, this Strife is a massive improvement over the original, like tenfold. The original I was not a big fan of. In fact, I destroyed it for a custom that I never even got. Like, I sent it away. I destroyed it, sent it away to get customized, the fodder for it. I never even got that back. And I was kind of upset about that for years. So when they announced this, I was super excited to get a new Strife. And getting this one, he's so much better. He's so much better in every way. The head sculpt alone, like, with all these pieces being individual pieces rather than one big blob, that alone makes him better. And then you get the new arms, the new legs. Now it looks like at first glance it's just reused, resculpt, but he's actually taller than the original one, which I also appreciate because the Cable figure was taller than the Strife figure, and well, since they're clones, they should be close to the same height. but with Strife's armor, he should look taller than Cable, not shorter. So I think this is a great update. I'm super happy to get this. Again, Strife is not a character I'm madly in love with, but I love his design. Not the biggest X-Men fan in the world, but again, this is a great design, a fantastic figure. Strife, honestly, maybe I feel like he should have gone higher, but at the moment he's at number 7. Very, very happy with this Strife figure. He looks gorgeous in hand here. At number 6 of a figure that I have seen on a couple like top 15 lists, and I saw it on my friend Century Productions. It was his number 5 figure. Honestly, it could be my number 5 as well, but this whole order can change again in like 5 minutes. And it was very unexpected. I mean, I thought it looked good when it was announced, but Hyperion from the Squadron Supreme 2-pack with Dr. Spectrum. Dr. Spectrum was a fairly disappointing figure, but Hyperion here is an amazing figure. Again, he's an improvement over the previous Hyperion. He is the improvements that Strife had over the original Strife. This figure has over the original Hyperion, but like 5 times better. This thing destroys the original Hyperion figure. So much better in every single way. Now, yes, he does have the pinned arms. Doesn't bother me. Pins don't bother me. He uses the Hercules arms, the Hercules legs. Brand new torso for him, though. This thing here is actually a new piece overlay. It's not like how Vision is, where it's painted on. It's not like the original Hyperion, where it's painted on. This is a brand new sculpt brand new torso sculpt just for Hyperion. You know they're totally going to repaint this in black, so can you get the Marvel Now Avengers version of Hyperion? I need like 3 more versions of this one specifically, because this Hyperion is great for the Squadron Sinister. If he had like no pants, if he had like just bare legs, it'd be even better for the Squadron Sinister. Squadron Supreme, the Squadron Supreme of America. Get a bald head for him, make him King Hyperion. He can go with the Thunderbolts. He's a fantastic figure. I wish more people recognize how good this figure is. It's the fact that he's packed with Dr. Spectrum, who's on the Bucky Cat body, really made people hate this set. But really, it's an underrated figure of the year, I think. Also, if they do release him again, they can always give him the pirate style boots, because Hyperion goes back and forth between those 2 boots over the years. But I think it's a really good figure. He could have also used more accessories, but that's true for almost every figure on this list except for 1. So, anyway, Hyperion, number 6. At number 5, and I don't know if this is a really good choice. I kind of feel like I should have gone lower with him and higher with others, but again, it's hard to choose. I love all these figures. Here's one I didn't expect to be better than the original, but Bucky Cap. I personally am a big fan of the original Bucky Cap. I liked that body mold for a long time. I thought that body was like pretty perfect for Bucky Barnes, but this figure came along and just blew it out of the water. That new torso sculpt, the new head sculpt, everything's better. This is a shield from the original one, though. And it's just better all around. And he's more posable. He looks nicer. He's just a really, really fantastic figure. Looks great on my new Avengers. We really need to finish the Dark Avengers so we can have a team for this Bucky and the new Avengers to fight on the shelf. Really, really good figure. See, I had a lot more to say about Hyperion than I do about this guy, so maybe Hyperion really should have gone higher. But anyway, Bucky Cap, I put him at number 5. Let's maybe swap that. Bucky Cap 6, Hyperion 5. There we go. 4. So 2023 was a pretty bad year for Legends. Like, most figures had very limited accessories. Very few alternate head sculpts and blast effects and all that. That cannot be said about Black Widow. Black Widow here had 3 new heads, like a ton of accessories. It's great, and all 3 heads are really good. My least favorite's a short hair head. I like the 2 longer hair heads better, but I like all 3 heads in general. And again, this is another figure I wasn't that excited for. I'm like, oh, it's just another Black Widow. yes, I mean, yes, it's improved over the retro card Black Widow and the Gray Widow. Gray Widow might still be my favorite Black Widow figure, just because of this design. Just because of the design, this figure is better, like from a actual toy perspective. And then her coming with 3 heads means you can go upgrade your previous widows from before, because I had like 3 retro widows: the white Black Widow, the gray Black Widow. It's crazy that this widow came out the same year as that really crap Yelena Belova figure. That was a horrible figure. This is a great figure. It's crazy that it came out the same year. But yeah, this is a figure. At first, I wasn't even gonna get her. I thought it's just another Black Widow. I don't need it. And then saw her on clearance for $9, got her, and then I was like, okay, wow, I do kind of see what the hype is about. I'm not in love with her as much as everybody else in the world seems to be, but I still do really, really appreciate this figure, and I can't wait to see what else they do with this body mold in the future. So, Black Widow, number 4. At number 3 is another figure that just was an upgrade from a previous Marvel Legend that I had for years and years. But as soon as I got this figure, I sold that other one, because it was a figure that I liked, but it was only just there as a placeholder because there's no other option. What figure am I talking about? The Blob. Now, yeah, I had the Build-A-Figure Blob, had that for years and years. And again, I didn't hate that Build-A-Figure. I just didn't love it. It was very disgusting looking. The original Build-A-Figure was like disgusting looking, and yes, I get Blob is fat. Blob is extremely obese. He should be disgusting looking. This guy is plain disgusting looking for me. He looks more like how I remember him in the 80s, 90s comics, in the cartoons. This is more how I've always seen Blob, and so I'm much happier with this figure. I had no problem replacing that Build-A-Figure, even though I wish I would have done it years ago when it was still worth a lot. But it's okay. Having this figure on my shelf is happy. It makes me happy enough. I actually need a second one to go on my Hulk villain shelf. It'd be ideal if they made the same figure, but just in his with his shirtless look, how he was in his first appearance. So you can put that with, you know. But as is, this Blob figure is really good. He's probably might be the heaviest Marvel Legend of the year too, which is fitting for the Blob. Yeah, it also needs to be said that he's much more posable. You can actually move this guy. His knees bend. The old Hasbro Bath, the knees didn't even bend on. So there we go. And you can also bend his torso a little bit. I mean, the other Blob you can only go side to side slightly. So this Blob is just better all around. At number 2, I want to say there were only 2 Marvel Legends this year that were taller than Blob, and this would be the second place in height figure of the year. It's another figure that doesn't replace a figure on my shelf, because I still have that other figure. I'm still keeping it, just moving to a different section, a different spot in my collection. I'm talking about the Destroyer. I love the Marvel Select Destroyer. I think it's a great figure still. I think this is better in every way. I think it's better. It might be just like slightly taller. It's a little thinner. It looks better proportionally to me. The Select has a better paint job. That's fine. But this figure I like better in every other way, especially articulation. It doesn't have those ugly hips that the Select has. Again, just really happy to have Destroyer. This figure doesn't feel like a Marvel Legend to me. It feels like it's a better figure than Marvel Legends usually gives us. There's nothing on this that can be reused, as far as I can tell. Maybe if they remove the spikes, maybe they can use it as Ultimo. But I mean, as far as I'm concerned, Destroyer is a one-off sculpt for Marvel Legends, and it is one of Thor's biggest adversaries of all time. That Thor figure he came with. And I'm happy to have Eric Masterson Thor, but he's mediocre. He's an okay figure. Destroyer, is probably the best figure in the entire Avengers assortment. There were a lot there, as you saw here. There were quite a few good ones: Black Widow, Hawkeye, Bucky Cap, Iron Man's, but Destroyer just beats them all. For number 1, this figure for me came out in the very beginning of 2023. For some people, it might have come out in 2022, so it might have been on their list for that year. But I can only say how it came out for me, and this wave is listed as a 2023 wave. When I got this figure in hand, I immediately thought, man, there's nothing is going to beat this figure by the end of the year, and I feel like I was correct. Some figures came very close, but Spiral is my Marvel Legend of 2023. I had the old Spiral. About 2 years ago, I had a feeling in my gut that they were going to do a new Mojo, a new Spiral, and a new Longshot. So I sold those figures for like $200. Then that Mojo 3-pack got announced with Longshot and Dazzler. And then the single carded Mojo, which I much prefer, came out. And then Retro Card Longshot came out. And Retro Card Spiral came out. And I felt so vindicated. I felt like I made a good choice for once in my collecting life to sell those off. And I'm so happy I did, because this figure is better in every way. I was very concerned that they were going to pull a 6-armed Spider-Man out and give her no torso articulation or something. But no, they gave her full posability. Could she use more paint in her hair and her fur and her legs? Yes. More accessories are always appreciated. You know, maybe she had more alternate hands, so each hand can have an open hand option. That's cool too. And more accessories, again, always appreciated. But this figure, it's just amazing the way they did it. There's no excuse for them to have any other multiple armed figures come out with limited articulation when this figure exists. And now, yes, the old previous Spiral also had double jointed elbows, also had torso articulation, but they also sacrificed other details on that figure to give you that. But this Spiral, there's no sacrifices taken. This is the Spiral I wanted. And I'm very, very happy to have her. So that was my top 10 Marvel Legends of 2023. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below. What was your list like? I know I'm one of the last people to post mine, so I'm sure everyone else has already done theirs. But I'm still curious to see what you guys' top 10s of the year were. Tell me how wrong I was about my choices. If you guys liked my content, please like, comment, and subscribe. I am planning to do a couple more top figure videos. I need to do a top 10 overall. I need to do a top 5 wrestling figures, maybe a top 5 He-Man. Probably not. I only got maybe 10, so it feels weird to do a ranking of 5 when you only got 10 figures. Maybe a worst figures. There will definitely be some Marvel Legends on there if I do that. But either way, let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And stay tuned for more content. 2024 is going to be a much more content-heavy year for me, I think. Yeah, so thank you guys again for watching. Keep on collecting. See you in the next one.